In my last video, I showcased Midjourney's video generator and how you can animate a static image up to 20 seconds long in a limited amount of times with the $60 plan. Which sounds expensive, but keep in mind that VO3 is $250 a month. Wow. I also talked about cheaper and free options like Seed Dance, Hoylao, and FramePack, and they all do a pretty good job. I also showcased a lot of the community generations in Midjourney that I thought looked pretty cool, and I made some examples of my own as well. Now, if you want to see that video, it'll be in the description, but one issue with most of those video generations, including the Midjourney ones, is there was no audio or sound effects with those generated clips. So let's fix that. Here are some examples of what we can do by giving AI a video clip with no sound and ask it to produce some background noise. Now, I personally think that these audio clips are very high quality, and especially when you compare it to the other generators out there. If you look at the clip with the fox, which is a sea dance video, you can see when the fox stops that the sound stops and then it continues again when he scurries away. And then the clip with the butterflies that are glowing, it added an entire forest in there. You can hear all the different sounds of the forest and the water. And then in the clips with waves, it did a very good job at adding the ocean breeze and the wave. And then that clip where things are going really fast, it gave that whooshing sound of wind. And these are all first attempt generations, and so it seems like every generation gives you a different result, just a little bit, unless you change the seed, but they're all pretty decent. The tool used to create the sound for those Midjourney community videos is called Audio, and we're also going to play around with some other tools to do some text-to-speech as well. These tools will be free, open source, and available on Pinokio. And if you don't know what Pinokio is, it's an open source AI app installer with a sleek interface. It's essentially like Steam, but instead of managing games, it manages AI tools. And once you've installed Pinokio, you can just browse their interface and just select the tool that you want to download and install, and then you just click on it. And it's a one-click installer, and it's pretty simple. It does everything for you automatically. I mean, this thing's installing PyTorch, Python, Conda, Triton for Windows, transformers, and requirements files. It even downloads the checkpoints and puts them in the proper folders for you. So it's going to download hundreds of gigabytes of things and put them in the proper folders. It's going to create your virtual environment. It's going to initiate Conda and start the shell. It's going to run your tool and so much more. So you won't have to actually type in a code like Python app.py or something like that. It's just going to run it for you. There's going to be a start button. You click that, and that's how you start the app. So it's a no-brainer that if the tool exists in here, you should use Pinokio to install that tool. It's the safest and most optimized way to run these tools. With that out of the way, now that you understand that Pinokio is awesome, let's install this tool. An optional first step will be to install CUDA toolset 12.4 and CUDNN drivers. I'll leave those links for you in the description, but you're basically choosing the right options for your PC and your operating system, and then I'll spit out a download link for you. For the CUDNN drivers, it's going to ask you if you want the version 10 or Tarball. Version 10 is for Windows and Tarball is for Linux. But basically, once you choose your options and you choose the installer type exe, which is the only option, you'll get a download link. Keep in mind, if you choose to use an older version of CUDA, you might need a different CUDNN driver. Just make sure you verify which one you're getting. But for anything CUDA 12 and above, you can use these drivers right here. Now, something very important to consider is that different video cards will work with different versions of CUDAs, and CUDN will combine with different versions of the toolset differently. The best way to handle this is just go to ChatGPT and ask which one you need for your video card. And it'll give you a breakdown just like this. As you can see, it says my RTX 4070 is compatible with anything 12x. So I got 12.4 and I'll need version 11 for the tool set. And the strange thing about the 910 too is that there's only version 10 for that, because in this instance, the version 10 of this UDNN is the API version and not the CUDA version. So that's very important to understand. And like I said, all of that's optional. So if it's too complicated, you can skip it and your generations will just take a little bit longer. Now, next, very important, you'll have to make sure that you don't have Visual Studios already installed. So Visual Studios Tools 2019 specifically. Now, don't get confused with Visual Studio Community Edition or Pro Edition. Those are totally different. But if you do have Visual Studio Tools 2019 already installed, you'll have to remove it by uninstalling it. You have to go to Control Panel, then click on Uninstall Programs, then click on Visual Studio Build Tools 2019, then click Uninstall. And very important, you actually have to restart your computer after uninstalling these tools because they're a little bit different than normal apps. Build tools modify your path or registry entries and system environment variables, and that's going to stick around, so you're going to need a restart. And trust me on this one. If you don't restart, you're going to end up in an endless loop of Pinokio trying to install Visual Studio tools over and over and over again. The cool thing about Pinokio is that it actually identifies the problem if that's happening. So it's going to tell you what to do. So just trust me on this one, restart your PC or you're going to end up in an endless loop. Now let's install Pinokio, which is going to be very easy. So go to pinokio.co and then click on the download button. And Pinokio has the perfect installation instructions here. It's very easy. And I got Windows, so I'm gonna click on Windows, but it's not gonna move much because the Windows section is already at the top. So the first step is to download for Windows. So click on that to start the download. Once you're done, you'll get a file like this. Yours might look different because you're probably using the default Windows zip file, but either way, just go ahead and right click it, then unzip it. For WinRAR, you do it just like this. I'm going to extract it to its own folder right here. And then you'll have a simple installer just like that. Go ahead and click it. And then you're going to get the Windows Defender Smart Screen. And this is just because this app hasn't been streamlined. So it's not part of, it didn't go through the Windows validation process. So it's basically unverified. And this is the warning you're going to get with all open source tools because they're not streamlined. So you're going to have to click on more info and run anyways if you trust this publisher. And Pinokio has been around for a while, so you can trust them. But go ahead and click run anyways to install this tool. And now Pinokio is going to ask you where you want to install. So think hard and make sure that you have enough space because these tools are relatively large. They're going to be 50 to 100 gigs each. So make sure you put it somewhere where it has room. Pinokio also doesn't allow spaces in the name. So you can't have something like AI tools with a space in between. It has to be like C:/Pinokio or something like that. Pinokio setup wouldn't work either because there's a space in between Pinokio and setup. If you want a space, put it underscore. And if you have a Mac, the instructions are here for Mac. But I don't have a Mac and I don't understand enough to do installation, anything for that. So I'm going to skip that. Once you install Pinokio, you're going to end up in the home page and it's going to look something like this, but you won't have these apps down here. It's going to be completely empty for you. So go ahead and click on the Discover icon over here at the top right. And now you can see all the different apps. If you have a specific app you want to find, like I want to download Yue, Y-U-E, and it's going to help me generate music for some of my videos without music. So go ahead and click on that, then click on the one-click installer, click on Save As, which is going to create a folder for it, and then it did a git clone of the initial repository. Then after that, you just click install, and from here, it's going to install PyTorch, it's going to install all the different requirements, it's even going to install any models that you're going to need and put them in the appropriate folder. The only exception would be Comfy UI, where it's going to install the base models, but if you want any other models like Flux, you're going to have to get that yourself. But pretty much every app, it's going to get the models, it's going to put it in the proper folders, and all you got to do is just wait till it starts. And that's pretty much it. It's going to start the app when it's done. And if it doesn't, there's going to be a start button here on the left side. Just click on start and that's going to start the app. It's pretty convenient. And if you go back to the home page by going down here to the bottom left, you can see all your different apps. And now you can see that UE is one of them. And all I have to do is click on it and click start. So this one specifically has so many different versions. You actually have to choose the right version that you installed. Like for example, I got the start 32 gigabytes with 12 gigabytes of VRAM. So when I click on that, it's going to start it. But all the other apps that don't have multiple types are just going to have a start and stop button. And then you click on stop to stop it. Congrats, you're now a pro at installing open source AI tools, at least the ones that are on Pinokio, right? So let's install the two that we need for this project, which is Audio, which is going to create background noise for video without sound, and OpenAudio, which is going to do text to speech, and it even has an instant voice cloning. You upload a clip of someone talking and it'll take that style of voice and then it'll clone it with the text that you give it. So go to Discover, type in and you'll see Audio. Go ahead and click it, and then click on the one-click installer. By the way, there's a lot of examples here if you want to check it out. So here's one of a dragon flying. That's a 20-second clip and it's perfect. It did the waves perfect. It did the dragon perfect. It's like movie quality sound. Go ahead and install the next tool, which is OpenAudio. Type in open up here in the search and there's OpenAudio. Click on it, click on the one-click installer. It's going to ask you where you want to install it, or actually the name of the folder rather. And then you click install and just wait till it's done. Isn't that crazy? It's really that easy. And you could find all these different types of apps here and just kind of read what they do. And this is like a hot spot for all the new AI tools. And well, they're not new. So OmniGen 2 is not here. And there's certain tools that aren't here. And it takes a while for them to actually perfect it. But you'll see here things like OmniGen 1 is here, which works pretty good too. And they have live portrait. They have face poke. They got so many tools here to play with. And they're just one click away at installing. Okay, I got sidetracked a little there, but let's go ahead and open up Audio. So click on Audio, then click on Start. Now it's going to take a little bit longer, and there's a common misconception that using Pinokio makes the generations go a lot slower, which is not true. It's like it takes a little bit longer to start up the tool, but everything is in Pinokio, and it's even faster, and it's also run on the local host, so it's not actually run on their servers. It's running on your PC through your 127.0.0.1. You can see that in your terminal. So you're not running it on their servers, and everything's being run locally on your computer, but you're initializing it or starting it with Pinokio, and it does the commands to start the Python app and activate whatever it needs to, because normally you need to activate a folder, which is your virtual environment, and then activate Conda, and then start the tool with whatever command that tool uses. Sometimes it's a batch file, sometimes it's a Python file. Pinokio figures that out all for you. All right, so that was relatively quick. It took like 30 seconds. Now, Audio is a pretty simple tool. So all you got to do is drop a video in here that doesn't have sound and then click generate. Then you'll have a product here on the right. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to put a video of this shark in a tub that has no audio. It's 8 seconds long. I'm not going to put anything in the prompt. You could put something in the prompt if you want. And the negative prompt says music. So no music. I don't want any music in this clip. And the seed is at -1, which makes it random. If you put 1, 2, 3 or anything else, you're going to get the same result when you regenerate. But if you put -1, you're going to get a different result every time. Now, steps is the quality. 25 is good, 50 is better, and anything over that is probably too much. Guidance strength is subjective, but if you're trying to get that perfect sound, you can adjust it in any direction, whichever works better. Duration, I don't think it matters too much as long as you have the total length of your clip. But if you go over time, it doesn't seem to make a difference. But why risk it? Just make sure this time matches this time down here. 8-second clip, 8-second duration. Click submit. And it's really quick. It takes about like 5 to 10 seconds and you have your result. And let's take a look at the result. And I think that's pretty good, but we can definitely do better. And if you're not getting the results you want, you could actually type in the prompt here, and then you can put more negative things like no music, no talking. And then I'm going to increase the steps to 30 and leave the guidance the same and submit. And let's check out the result. Whoa, it growled like a lion. So maybe put growl in the negative prompt or something like that. But I like the first result. So let's try a different one now. Now here's a boy running. It's an anime picture right here, 5 seconds long. Let's see what it gives us for this. Pretty decent, but I think we could do better. Let's try it again. Right, here it is. And a little bit better. Yeah, I like this too. Let's try another video. This one's going to be interesting because there's not much going on here. Let's see what it does. It's actually really good. I like the result there. Now let's try this one of a fairy on a teacup. That's actually really nice. And so this thing, I mean, first try, it does a really good job. I've had some good results with this, and at the most I've generated maybe 2 or 3 and I get a perfect result. Let's try one more and then we'll move on. And by the way, the generations are taking about 20 seconds, and normally they take about 10 seconds for a 5-second video, but I am recording and I have a bunch of YouTube windows open. Here's the next one and let's see what it does. All right, here we go. That was terrifying, and it was really good, and that's going to be really hard to do. Like if you're somebody making a movie, like to create those kind of sound effects and all that at once is very hard to do, and you can just do this by giving it a video. This is insane. There's a lot of video to audio generators like this out there, but they're really bad, and this is the only one that I tried that was quality. Let's try OpenAudio now to add some speech. So once you click on OpenAudio, this is one that automatically starts. Just give it 30 seconds and it should be up and running. Now it'd be cool if we can use an app like Wave to Lip to kind of lip sync the audio that we get from OpenAudio, but those are all paid apps. I haven't seen a decent one that's not paid. There's a few on Pinokio, but they're all terrible. So sorry, but there are some paid ones that are pretty nice. And you can install an app like Wave to Lip that can actually lip sync an existing video, or you can use something like this, which is multi-talk, which does a really good job at taking a single image and then using your audio to lip sync them. And so it could just be like maybe the last frame of a video that you had, give it to multi-talk and it'll animate, and then it'll also lip sync and add the audio in there. So as you can see, the animations are really good. And here's an example.
Oh, how about selling food without a permit? You're under arrest.
Really?
Shadow overhead. I've been sleeping with a cloud above my...
You've seen a lot of.
Exactly. Moving beyond that, creating whole scenes, groups.
I'll say this, it's way better than the lip sync that was used in the newest Squid Game. It's a pretty good app, but it's paid. All right, now that OpenAudio is started up, you'll see something like this where it says Fish Speech. And this is their audio generator, text-to-speech audio generator. Click on reference audio, and then we're gonna give it a clip. So I'm just gonna drag a clip in here. Now keep in mind that it only takes WAV files, MP3s, audio clips. You can't drag in a video clip in here. Now this is a pretty cool app, and so the way it voice clones is when you give it the reference audio, it's going to take the cadence, the style, and the voice, and it's going to clone it onto whatever you put in here in the input text. So here's the sample reference audio.
Dated a guy that God would have approved for me. Not to say, let me clarify and say that I've actually only dated great men, good people.
And then over here, you can change it between upload audio, or you can record your own voice if your own voice is what you want to clone. So let me type something in. All right, so I put some input text. I'm going to click generate now. All right, it's all done. So let's check out what we got here.
If you find this content helpful and want to support my channel, please give that thumbs up to show your support, and it helps me out a lot.
Definitely click the thumbs up. And so you can see it cloned her voice, and it got her, I don't know, this kind of like that California girl, kind of Britney Spears vibe. So here's that girl again.
People to their core, but never somebody who's further along in their faith than I am, without a shadow of a doubt that the person God has.
So that's her real voice, and this is the clone one.
If you find this content helpful and want to support my channel, please give that thumbs up to show your support, and it helps.
And that was like in 20 seconds, and I just uploaded the audio, typed in what I wanted, and it made that text-to-speech audio right there. It's a very cool voice cloning technique. Normally you have to trade a voice and then leave that voice in your library, and then you have to choose that voice. But with this one, you could just give it reference audio and clone it from there. Now, if you notice at the bottom, there's reference text. So when you upload the reference audio, you're supposed to type out the text that's in that audio to make it more accurate. For this program in particular, you can leave it blank and it should still work. But if you get an error or the results are kind of lame or not as expressive, this is why you didn't put reference text. Now I recommend that you put the text in there, but it's up to you. Now let's take a look at DIA, and DIA is essentially the same thing, and you could get it here on Pinokio as well. So it has the audio reference, but the audio reference in voice cloning doesn't work as well. And if you leave out the transcript audio prompt, it will not work. Also, there's only a limited amount, so you can't go over 30 seconds. So the clip that I used earlier will not work here. It should be around 30 seconds. And then you also have to put in the transcript of the audio. Now, right now, I'm not a fan of their voice cloning, and it is kind of hit or miss with this tool. But one thing that it's good at is giving random conversations between different speakers that are pretty well done. Here's a list of all the different expressions you can do or little actions like coughing and clapping or applauding rather and singing. It seems like based on the examples, you put these right after the sentence before the next speaker. And then you're going to put the tag S1 and S2 for each speaker. So as you can see here, I got S1 for the first speaker, then S2 is the next person. And it's going to generate a random voice. Sometimes it's someone with a British accent, an Indian accent. Sometimes it's a girl. Sometimes it's someone who's crazy. It's kind of random, but it's pretty entertaining and pretty powerful how you can put these little tags like groans in the middle of it. So let's click generate and see what we get from this. Okay, so it's done now. And this takes a lot longer than OpenAudio. This actually took me like 8 minutes, and normally it shouldn't take that long, but I'm running a lot of things in the background. But it takes around 5 to 10 minutes for me with all the things running in the background. And then if you look at generation parameters real quick at the bottom, you can see it defines what each one does. So max new tokens is the audio length, and then temperature is for randomness, which this app is pretty random. Let's take a look at the result and keep your eye out on things like coughs and laughs, and you can see where it kind of ends up and has success or doesn't.
Hello, YouTube! If you're enjoying the video, go ahead and click the like button.
Here is secret. It doesn't cost you anything, and it shows your support for the channel.
You wouldn't want me to get angry.
Or even sad, because no one watched this video.
Because you didn't click a like button.
Oh, it's just that easy.
But feel free to do whatever you want.
Because at the end of the day, you have the freedom to do whatever you want.
But is your freedom really your choice of free will or based on pressures that alter your decision making?
All right, so some of the commands didn't work, but that's a pretty amazing. It sounds very human. It's like some YouTuber that does kids videos, but you can definitely slow down the speed factor, but it's pretty random. The only way you could control the speed and the person who's doing it is you have to do the audio reference, which I haven't had luck with, but you can try it out and it's supposed to work. I've seen people get it to work. I just haven't done it myself. Of course, you can do it with the command parameters as well, but being that it took me 5 minutes to 10 minutes to generate something this short, good luck with that. It's going to be kind of difficult. Now, real quickly, I just want to share another app that you can use for free and generate music. It's called Suno AI. I did a video on it and I'll leave it in the description, but this thing makes amazing music. It can make cinematic music, it can make love songs, it can make EDM, it can make whatever you want, and it sounds really good. It's not that scratchy AI stuff. They've perfected it and it sounds really good. Here's some examples of that type of music. So that's amazing. I could totally see that in a movie or a game. And here's more of a chill beat, like a chill or lo-fi. Now here's a mix of some EDM, which is pretty good too. And here's the song that I used in my last video, and I really like this one. So I got the paid version, which is only $10 a month, but you can use it for free. And I think the exception is that you can't sell the music that you make if you're not paying for the subscription. And here's a example of a love song, and it's like really high pitched.
Now I'm drowning in your old side of pain, and everything feels so strange. How can the same person change so much in time? I guess we crossed that line.
Amazing how it does all those different types of audio techniques where it goes lo-fi at one point and then has that really high pitched but very clean vocals. Here's a sad song that you can use for a cinematic. So that's all I want to show you, and this is how to put some life into your audio-less videos. And so you can use Audio to add sound effects. You can add text-to-speech either with this tool or with OpenAudio, or you can even get a tool like Multi-Talk to animate one of the images and do lip syncing. And there's also Wave to Lip if you want to lip sync a video that's already been made. So there's a lot of options to put sound into your video. Now, does this beat VO 3? Of course not, because you have to do all the work manually, but you have a little bit more control for the final result. And it's a lot cheaper with VO 3 being $250 a month. I really hope they lower that. That's insane. Can't believe I paid that. But definitely enjoy playing with Pinokio. And if you liked the video, definitely leave a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot and it doesn't cost you anything. All right, thanks for watching.